All right, so I just wanted to come on here and share another stock pick that I've been researching recently. And the name of the stock is Vistra. And they basically do energy production, electricity production, power generation using natural gas, solar, coal, and even nuclear energy and more. And they use all those sources to produce electricity. And basically, what they do is they supply this electricity to retail and to different companies. Um, and as of recently, which has really sent their business booming, they've been supplying it to data centers, which have been powered by the AI chips that have been being produced by companies like NVIDIA and Microsoft. And this increased demand for electricity from these data centers has really sent Vistra up a lot. And I've been doing my research, and I think it honestly could go much higher. So generally, this stock started pretty low at 16, and it was largely didn't move much until about January, which is when their business started really picking up. And then you see this jump from 35 to 190. And honestly, it's a huge jump, obviously. And I wouldn't really personally be buying there. It's very high, but they saw a huge decrease as of recently, down to around 115, and they're slowly climbing back up. But honestly, I did some more research into it, and this pullback wasn't exactly anything related to their business or their company. There wasn't any really bad news. It's just that with Vistra, especially because they get most of their customers from data centers, and these companies like NVIDIA and Microsoft are supplying these data centers with chips. A big reason Vistra went down was nothing really bad specific to the company, but mostly just the fear that with these tariffs and with the overall market uncertainty and talks of will we go into a recession, whatever, kind of this worry that their business would slow down because makers like NVIDIA and Microsoft would stop supplying or their slow down to these data centers, and they wouldn't need as much energy. There wouldn't be as much of a demand for it. So that was kind of the worry, and that sent the stock down again a lot more than I think was warranted. Again, 190 to 115. It's a huge jump down. And as you can see, I was looking at the NVIDIA chart. It really just follows the NVIDIA chart. Generally, like you see NVIDIA, February 20th was at its highs, and then it jumped all the way down to March 10th at its lows. Here you see February, or this is a little earlier, but this was around February 15th, it was at its highs, and then you see it goes all the way around March 10th. So again, it kind of has been following the trajectory of NVIDIA over the last couple months. But the stock isn't completely tied to NVIDIA. It doesn't necessarily follow NVIDIA's path. It has been doing around the same as NVIDIA over the last few years, just because, with the rise of these chips, Vistra sees a huge increase in demand for their business. So, you can take that as you will. But I think NVIDIA is also a very promising company. But I think as Vistra develops, obviously right now they're very heavily tied to the chip manufacturing business, just because they're supplying energy to these data centers. But I think as their company moves on, they're going to continue to develop and continue to find new ways to integrate their business. There's a lot of use for nuclear energy and solar energy, and I think they do it very well. I think you'll see it in a lot of commercial retailers using their energy, and as many areas as you can really imagine. So the sky's really the limit. It's still only at $44 billion in market cap. That's not that much. It was the best performer in the S&P last year, which is promising. And some people are like, oh, it went up so much, just going to go back down. Well, if you look at their financials, and that's what I was looking at, you really will see why this business isn't just a boom and then it'll go back down. The revenues have been growing steadily. As of recently, you see this rise 13.48. We're up to 17 billion. They're continuing to grow. You're seeing over the last year or so, year over year, you're seeing these 20%, 50%, 30% gains. It's what you love to see as an investor. A 16.54% increase, 7.6, 13.7. It's a growing business. You look at their net income, which is a big tell of if they're profitable or not. And again, you see this 83% increase from 2023. That sent the stock flying. Look at this huge green, 295% increase year over year from that quarter, and you see these increases. They were largely pretty much unprofitable in the negatives. You're starting to see them creep up here from 0.5 to 1.8. Now we're at 2.5. They're continuing to grow. That's what you love to see out of a company. And you look at the price to earnings, and this is really, are they overvalued or not? And you'd think that after such a huge jump, they'd be a little overvalued, but nope, they are really striving in the price to earnings ratio. Again, you see they were at 63 price to earnings a little while ago, which is very high. And I would probably stay away from that stock looking at it then. But now you see this huge drop, and now we're at 18.8. That is very good. Again, for energy stock, it's a little high. Energy stocks tend to be lower, but that's what you like to see, especially because this is so heavily associated with AI, and there's so much room for growth, and way more room for growth than any other energy stock. So you have this AI aspect, but they're also an energy stock. And energy stocks are great to diversify our portfolio. I know I am tech heavy in my portfolio. I try to get as many non-tech stocks as I can because you don't want all tech stocks. That's not really good. You want to diversify. So again, if you are interested in diversifying, I'd suggest this stock because it's an energy stock, but it's also a little tied to tech, which is good. And there's also a very easy world where if the market does end up bouncing back, you could easily see the stock go up to 190 very, very soon and soar past that. And I would not be surprised if in the next month or so it's back up to 190. You already see that they're starting this jump since the market's starting to bounce back a little bit. This jump from 114 to 130. I think this week it'll keep going up. So if you're interested in a little more diversity in your portfolio, they have strong growing financials. They're tied to the AI boom, which I think is still very much alive. And if you don't want to exactly, it's not exactly tied to NVIDIA, but if you don't want to invest in NVIDIA and get kind of similar returns or similar, returns from the time frame, I would say invest in this stock instead. If NVIDIA goes up, it'll probably also go up. But if NVIDIA goes down, it could also go up because they're going to continue to incorporate their business into other aspects of the market and other commercial aspects. So, just a pick to kind of diversify our portfolio a little bit. I think over the long term, this will end up paying off. I think over the short term, it could end up paying off very well. I think you see this chart here just from a technical aspect. They're continuing to bounce back. I think as long as there's no bad news related to Vistra, as long as there's not more bad news relating to the market that'll really sink the market, I think you could easily see a jump back up to 190. So I'd say buy as soon as you can. You wait a little longer, it could be up to 150 before you know it. So just something to keep in mind. I would definitely buy it. I'm going to buy it right now. And yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.